Hey everyone, welcome back to another video with me, Gavin. It's going to be another review, and then it'll also be followed by another review after this on another kit. So, ever since doing the Trumpeter Type 99 HSP, the artillery, relatively recently, I kind of took a bit of a penchant for the new, say the relatively new kits from Trumpeter, depicting various vehicles from the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Force, the JGSDF there. If anybody of you has built a modern Trumpeter kit, you'll know that they generally fit like a bit like a glove. They've got lots of details, but kind of details that are nice to have rather than kind of being over-engineered for the sake of it. One or two of the main kits are nice as they are a little bit over-engineered almost for the sake of it. Their AUF-1 being a good example. However, the Type 99 had lots of parts, but not necessarily stupid amounts. But it was things that were nice to see separate. It was nice to build up the smoke launchers out of separate parts. It was nice to have all the grab handles separate and things like that. Ridiculously small as some of them are, it helps with the experience, and ultimately you get a better look than if they're all molded on. So what is the Type 87? As you can see, it's basically a tank with a odd shaped turret and two very thin guns on it. Basically it's an air defense vehicle. It's a self-propelled anti-aircraft gun. This one in particular, if we can see here, the Japanese one, Type 87, it's basically built around the same cannon system used on the German Gepard. I have a funny feeling the Germans don't use them anymore. I have a funny feeling they've phased them out now. Modern combat perhaps doesn't really dictate the need for such a thing. However, this is a pretty cool looking vehicle, and I wanted it, so I bought it. So let's just go around the actual kit then, enough to waffle about what it is. Obviously, a bit of blurb, a bit of profile of the vehicle there. Now, unfortunately, it seems that the Japanese just have a habit of painting all their vehicles in this brown and green scheme. It's okay, I quite like it, and I like how their modern kits have got photographs on the as the box art. Here we get length, width. PCs 540 plus PCs. I don't know what the plus is for. They may have just got bored after that amount. Counting. Some more views here, warnings, and included are Photo-etch parts. So let's get rid of that. Here's the contents of the box. Basically, what I've done already is chopped open the bags in an effort to keep this shorter and sweeter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that up there, pull in a bit closer. Sorry if you can hear the traffic, I've got to have a window open, and even in Scotland here it's stupidly warm today. It's just muggy and horrible. Do you see at the window there? Not really. It's cloudy, but it's really muggy. Not helped by the fact that I'm actually sitting with it. Right, so what do we get on this? Is actually Sprue C, which is the first one in the box. So we got a fully molded storage basket there. There's a little bit of flashing on the inside there, but that'll scrape off nice and easy. Suspension parts, I believe. The headlight clusters, the headlight guards, quite nice and thin. I do believe there's a Lion Roar or a Voyager Photo-etch set for this kit, which may well replace the likes of these kind of parts here. Various boxes, a hatch, tow cable, storage bins. You see what I mean by all these little details. So there are, little handles here and there. I believe that's possibly the rear plate. Bases of the smoke launchers, perhaps. So that's that sprue. Now there's two of these, so I've cut the other one open already. Again, storage, but I don't like this. Although it's protected by this, I don't like this one random part. I would have rather that was on another sprue somewhere. So what we've got here is the two halves of the idler wheels, the two halves of the drive sprocket. Lots of little aerial base, and lots of other little details. And one half of one of the gun barrels. I don't like that either. These guns are small enough and thin enough as it is. I don't really think they needed to be in two halves, but there we go. So we'll see how that goes when it comes to building it. Now here we have the various parts for the tracking radar, spare track links, parts of the cannon pods effectively, and the big main turret hatch, more parts for the swiveling mechanism of the guns, the radar dome itself, the spinning radar bar, and this curved thing. Now this is not bent, this is meant to be curved. What that is a jig for the tracks, so that you can get the correct sag for the top of the tracks, which is quite cool. Quite cool that Trumpeter include that. Whoops. So what we have here is a loose part, which I believe is something to do with the radar assembly. The other halves of the guns, which has some nice kind of control, some kind of leads, wire or something attached to them, which is quite nice. But that is going to basically mean that because that's molded there, when you attach the other half of the gun, any seam that you want to maybe sort out down that side, you will not be able to sort out. That's a bit of a pain in the ass. So it's not very good actually. I don't really like that. Various other lots of little assemblies that look like they all stick together. Under there is another really nicely rendered basket actually. A little bit of flash on it, but that's a really nice little touch. It's nice that they do protect that. There's 4 of these sprues. These are the wheel sprues, wheels and suspension arms. There's no poly caps in this kit. I don't like that from Trumpeter. I'd rather have had poly caps. Makes wheels popping on and off easier, but got quite a nice chunky axle on them that might just slide in nicely anyway. All the various grab handles, hatch handles, smoke launcher parts, and that's just replicated 4 times. I'll take all these out. Basically there's 3 of these packs of the individual track links. All very nicely molded. There is 5 sprues to a bag, 10 links on each bit, so there's 50, so there's 150 track links altogether. 4 attachment points on each one. But there's a nice distance between each guide horn that actually UMP sand thinny stick will probably sand them up quite nicely. I use if you're doing these kind of links, what I found is get yourself a set of these if you don't have them. What these are flat needle nose pliers. You'll notice that when they clip together, the gap is perfectly flat across here. There's no kind of indentation. Another set I had basically meant you clipped it off and you ended up with a lump of plastic still because it didn't cut flush. See if you get a bit that cuts flush when you've got nice solid parts like these that are not going to crack. Save you a world of time. In here, clear parts, not very many. Headlights, a couple of vision blocks, nothing too interesting. Quite nice though. This is the upper hull and the turret lower. I don't bother taking that out, it's just a little bit of flash on there. Oh no, it's not. No, there's a little bit. Oops, sorry. A little bit along that edge, but it's nothing interesting to look at. It just the turret that sits on there. Lots of little anti-slip panels, nice weld detail on the front there. Nice engine louvers. There's a lot of these. Louvers, lots of holes. There's a lot of. See all those holes? You know, I assume that if you look at the box art again, you know it's on the engine deck here. All these little handles. Yeah, they're all separate. Down the front as well. Nice details on the sides. What do we have in here? The lower hull. It's going to be a sizable vehicle. I mean, even in 1/35, it's going to be a sizable vehicle. It's very square at the back, but looks pretty cool. I like it. A little bag with poly caps, which I believe are not for the wheels, but they are for the various radar thingies on the back that assemble. And I don't quite know what the two bits of brass tube are for. I'm sure I'll find out when I come to build it. Now, the turret itself cast as one piece, bar the front and the rear and the underside. That's going to look pretty cool, so on there. I don't really know how that goes on. Something like that by the looks of it. Quite cool. Nice details, nice rivets. All looking pretty good. Right, what else is in this box? Right, I'm going to try and cut this before 15 minutes, so sorry it's shaky. I've gone back to my iPhone, which is obviously mean I'm holding it, so hence the shaky cam. Okay, so Photo-etch, quite a big sheet of Photo-etch. Mainly that looks like the bottom for the stowage bin, and basically a hole of mesh for the various grills on the engine deck. A couple of bits of tread plate, and I believe these are the mounts for the the smoke launchers, and various other mounts, presumably sight protectors or something for on the turret. And a nice big bit there. What else do we get? Decals. Japanese tank's pretty boring in terms of the decals. Usually just some white stenciled reg numbers, maybe a turret number, and a kind of single colourful unit marking. I think these are maybe kind of brigade or unit division markings. I seem to. Some of these look quite similar to what have been in the HSP, so kind of a little bit of colour, look quite good. Instructions are your usual Trumpeter A4 booklet, a non-numbered sprue map, non-numbered being it's more just a case of so you can check that you've got everything as your sprue numbers. I love the English translations of copper reduct. That's quite funny. Seems I was wrong about the track links. There's 17 sprues, 2 bags of 6 and a bag of 5. Now there's two options. Apparently this vehicle has some kind of adjustable suspension, so we can have it in drive state or hold still state. If it's in drive state, all the suspension arms supposedly go horizontal on the hull. Now if it's in hold still state, all suspension arms, instead of being poking down on the hull like that, actually poke up the way. Now I assume that it's got some kind of adjustable suspension, and such that when it's needing to fire, it can effectively depress the suspension, which presumably almost bellies it onto the ground or lowers its center of gravity, which means that when the turret's swinging about chasing planes, it maybe gets a more stable flying platform. I don't know. Anyway, basically that track has sag, that doesn't, because it adjusts the track. So that goes straight along the top, and then this one sags, which you'll see in just a second. So this is the hold still state, much lower to the ground, no sag in the tracks. Drive state, raised from the ground, sag in the tracks. I would in the drive state though, that looks a bit daft to me. A modern vehicle would be sinking to the ground. Pretty typical in terms of your construction, upper hull, onto the lower hull, storage basket, building up the turret. There's no interior, lots of parts for the exterior though. No cement, you get poly caps in these various parts here, so that sorry, I'm just getting distracted here. So that the various radar assemblies, that's the word I'm looking for, can elevate and depress. That's the copper tube there. It gets used, it's basically forms the basis for the hydraulic rams that would raise and lower the part there, making up the cannon pods. Two cannon pods, little spaceships. Cannon pods go in. Two options for the smoke launchers, earlier late version. Turret goes on. Last but not least, a big A4 colour painting and marking guide. Nice and easy. Although some cracking spelling there from Trumpeter. I don't know if you can see that. It says D-A-E-K instead of D-A-R-K. So it's Dick Green and O-Arc Earth. So not only have they spelt dark wrong, but they've spelt it wrong twice, which is hilariously funny. Okay. That's that. There's not much else in there. There's just a usual Trumpeter advertisement and your interlink tracks there. So I'm probably going to start this sometime soon, maybe the back of next week. Gary Hummingbird, he's gonna Gary Winton, he's gonna make his soon. So I might end up doing a bit of a buddy build, so watch out for that. Thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.